Hey, what's up? Chris here from the Printmaker System. And in the last couple of episodes, we talked about how to choose products and how to price those products. I wanted to dive a little bit deeper into that first topic of choosing products and give you a few ideas of how to choose the right print lab for you, because we get that a lot. It's like, okay, cool. I kind of have an idea of which products might work best for me, but there are so many options out there as far as different print labs go. How do I choose the best one for me? So I'm going to give you 8 quick tips today on how to choose the best print lab for you and for your clients. All right. So I want you to keep these things in mind, though, as we go through here. So your lab choice can give you a competitive edge. Okay. You might have better prices. You might have faster turnaround, or even your pitch might be better to your clients. Maybe something like, hey, we're eco-friendly because our lab is a green lab. These types of things can factor into how you actually book clients based on the print lab that you choose. And then the second most important thing that I want to kind of stress today is that it's really a balance of all 8 of these things. You probably won't find one lab that stands out head and shoulders above all of the other ones on all 8 points. So it's really about finding out what's most important for you and for your clients, and then choosing a lab that has those things more than kind of the other things. All right. So now with that said, let's go ahead and start with probably the easiest one, price. Okay. How much do their products cost when compared to other pro labs? This impacts nearly every aspect of your business. Okay. Obviously the price. So be sure to choose a lab that is going to suit your price point. And by that, I mean, if you are just starting out, then you may not want to go to somebody like a Musea. They have, I think, hands down the best framed prints on the planet, but they also have a price that goes along with that. So that might be something for you to work your way up to. All right. Okay. I also want to make sure that you don't forget, when you're pricing out products from different labs, to consider things like hanging hardware, textures and finishes, corner edges and treatment, any of those types of things that may be added to the cost of the product. All right. So definitely something to keep in mind as you're comparing different labs. Make sure that you're looking at all of those add-ons that might be there as well, and considering, kind of factoring those into your prices as well. All right. Tip number 2 that I want you to look for when you are choosing a lab is shipping costs. And I know that this probably could have gone with the other one, but it's important enough that I feel like we draw it out into its own point. And here's a kind of a story for you that gives you an idea of just how much of a difference this can make. So Adrian and I have a canvas in our bedroom. It's 3 foot by 7 foot. It's massive, absolutely huge, right? So we went to one lab and we were going to get it printed from them. They said, yeah, it'll be, however much it was for the canvas, and it'll be $250 to ship it, because they had to ship it freight, right? So they're like, okay, this thing has to be shipped freight. It's going to be $250 to ship that thing freight. So we were like, whoa, okay, let's maybe call around. So we called another company and we were told, okay, here's how much the canvas is going to be. And I said, okay, but how much for shipping? And they said, it'll be $15. And I'm like, yeah, but no, hold on. Not 3 inch by 7 inch, 3 foot by 7 foot. Like, are you sure? And yeah, it's $15. I'm like, don't you have to ship it freight? Yeah. How much is it going to cost? $15. I'm like, okay, sure. So I called back like 2 more times to talk to 2 different reps to make sure that person knew what they were talking about. But, and it was no joke. Like, it came in on a flatbed in like a wooden crate, like, something that you'd imagine like they ship like a sarcophagus to the museum in this kind of thing. So, but it was $15, so these things can make a massive, massive difference. All right. So, I want you to find out if they charge a flat rate, no matter what the size is for the product, and then find out if different products can be shipped in the same box. This is important because a lot of labs use software called Rose, and Rose, at least last I looked, it made it so that you could only place specific types of products in the same order. So you might have to separate your albums from your small prints from your wall art. And that means that all of those may possibly ship out in separate boxes. If instead you can get them to put all of it into one box, then you could you could save on shipping. All right. Okay. Shipping times. How long is it going to take for your products to come in? Okay. When you do this, so some labs are going to say it's free 2-day shipping. Some will say, no, it'll be, 2 weeks for this stuff to come in, but it's free. Or maybe you have to pay for 2-day shipping. All of this stuff, just make sure you factor that in. But most importantly, you also need to consider the in-lab processing time, because they're going to say, okay, it's free 2-day shipping. That does not mean you're going to get it 2 days from now, because it might take 2 days to print that product. Okay, so I want you to remember to factor in the in-lab processing times and the shipping times. And then when you get that number, here's what I'd really like you to do. Double it, all right? Now, when you talk to your clients about products, make sure that you're telling them that double. This is that under-promise, over-deliver idea, right? So if it takes 2 weeks for your stuff to come in, I would tell my clients your stuff will be here in 4 to 6 weeks. Right? That way I can say at the 2-week point, if it comes in and there's something wrong, I still have time to send it back, get it reprinted, and sent back to me, and I'm still within that 4 to 6 week window. However, if it comes in at 2 weeks and everything looks amazing, I now get to surprise my client with, hey, your stuff is here already. So these kinds of things, they're little minor things, but they make a huge, huge difference when you are dealing with clients. All right. Last thing that you want to check on shipping times is, are there delays in in-lab processing and in shipping during the peak season? So this is typically during the holidays, all right? So you want to make sure that you're asking about that as well as you're looking for different labs. Okay. Number 4, location. Where is the lab based? So I know that we just talked about shipping times, but I'm actually asking kind of mentioning location here for a different reason. And it's really because I like to work with local businesses. All right. And if you do too, or more importantly, if your clients prefer to work with local businesses, then this may be something that you may need to consider when you're trying to choose a lab. Is the lab local to you? And is that something that's going to give me a leg up in my market, or just make me feel better about the companies that I'm choosing to work with, right? Okay. 5, print quality. All right. How does their quality compare to other print labs? If having the most perfect, pristine, best quality photos is important to you, then this should be obviously a major consideration. However, be ready for the blasphemy. All right. So, it's not as important as you may think. Okay. I don't want you to get too hung up on quality, because the fact of the matter is, what you and I see as kind of glaring differences in color cast or shadows or temperature or, black point, our clients just don't see. Okay. So choose a pro lab and move on. Note, I said a pro lab though. We are not talking about the difference between WHCC and Walgreens. Anybody with eyeballs can see that difference, right? We're talking about pro labs. And when it comes down to it, your clients really aren't going to notice it. Now, if you, though, just insist, I have to have the best products on the market, then just make sure that you are ordering samples of the same images from multiple labs, so you can break out your little loop and you can go nuts on all the pixel peeping there. All right. Okay. So that was number 5. Number 6, environmental impact. Is your lab green, right? Do they use sustainable processes and materials? Do they do anything to offset their carbon footprint? Is this important to you? And again, is it important to your client? If it's important to your client, then it should be important to you as well. All right. So, make sure that you are taking that into consideration, especially if that's kind of a part of your selling point or a very important part of the decision-making process for your ideal client. All right. Number 7 is product mix. This is a pretty simple one here. Do they offer all of the products that you want to sell? It is not terribly important that you source all of your products from the same lab. It's really not that important at all, but since you're going through this work choosing a lab, then it may be worth trying to find one that can source basically everything that you want. Now, the only caveat to that is I would stick with the same lab for specific product types. So I'm going to get all of my framed products from one lab. I'm going to get all of my metal products from one lab. I'm not going to like mix and match different sizes from various labs, because then it becomes a nightmare, right? So don't do that, okay? All right, so the last one is mass market availability. Can clients purchase these products in a similar quality from consumer labs, okay? And again, I'm going to say some blasphemous stuff here. This is not as important as you think, okay? I don't want you to get hung up on this either. If the only thing that you have to offer your clients is that they can't get your stuff anywhere else, then you're doing it wrong, okay? You need instead to sell the fact that it's done for them by a pro who knows what they're doing. Okay? And by someone who knows what will look good. Really play up that kind of leave it all to me, the actual service that you're providing. Okay? And I want you to know that time and convenience, saving people time and providing convenience to them, is sometimes far more valuable than cost alone. Okay? So I want you to sell that. So there you go. That's all 8. Let me go through those again. Price, shipping costs, shipping times, location, print quality, environmental impact, product mix, and mass market availability. Those are the 8 things that I think you should take into consideration when you are choosing a professional print lab to print your products. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments if you're on the blog, or you can leave a review, ask your questions. You can always send an email to hello@theprintmakersystem.com. All right, I have some new free training coming up for you guys really soon. Unfortunately, I don't have a URL for you yet, but I want you to be on the lookout for that because it's really good. I've been working on it, and I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. Okay, so thank you so much for your time and your attention, and I can't wait to be back in your ears or your eye holes next week. All right, see ya.